Why do you think people are going into this, more likely going into this virtual world of dating, the start point, rather than engaging physically in person in some community activities? Then you are having in life eventually some candidates.
Okay. From experience with my clients, sometimes it's difficult if your community is still around your ex. You know, if you're in your, maybe it's not a town, but if your area and your ex lives close by, especially if you've got kids, it's very difficult to just date locally. You might go to the same restaurant, bump into them. It's uncomfortable. So people
Okay.
often like the dating online because it takes them away from that problem. But also it gives people the opportunity to reinvent themselves. New pictures, new clothes, new makeup, new hairstyle, you know,
Yeah.
everything to just move away from where they were, maybe lose weight, whatever it might be, reinvent themselves and put themselves in the marketplace. There's the new package. There's me. I'm Magdalena. This is me.
Okay.
Come and date me. And you know what? When your friends are all saying, oh, I've got 10 guys chasing me on Tinder or Match or whatever, that sounds, oh my God, competition. Maybe I can get more matches. And people start getting excited. It's the attention. Of course, we want attention. I've been on dating
Right.
sites. It actually gets addictive. It's a dopamine hit. You start feeling confident again. That
Hmm.
is the problem. The
Okay.
problem isn't there. The problem is what you do once you've got the attention. Getting the attention is not a problem, especially if you're an attractive woman.
So what do we do? What we, yeah, from your experience, what do we do when we get that attention?
Well, you need a strategy because if you
Okay.
haven't got a strategy, you're going to get overwhelmed. That's the overriding comment that I get from women is I've got 30 guys. My inbox is so full. I've only been on Match for a week and I just don't know what to do. I can't message these guys enough. And the strategy is I'm just going to try and message all of them. And then you're confusing yourself because you're having all these different conversations, if you're having any at all, because a lot of men don't conversate at all. They just, hello, goodbye. It's sporadic. They've got a bigger inbox with more people to talk to, and it'd be very bitty. So my strategy is to ask one question, and that one question unlocks a whole dynamic
Yeah.
for me anyway, and for my clients. And I may have told you this, the circus question.
Yeah.
It identifies something that we need to identify. I mean, it's better I ask you the question so that you can actually participate, and obviously your viewers can participate in the process and understand how it works. Okay? Hence,
Definitely. And and I think that's the moment where we need to say where did circus come from, because you start your chapter with the title "The World Love is a Circus." And behind you, we are having a circus. You are also the outdoor designer of looking forward, right, to be launched the application based on your framework you have developed, Circology, which I love the title. But I think around your framework, we can continue conversation about the strategy, about the stages, about the criteria that we should put in our strategy. But first, why you think the love world is a circus? Where the connection comes from?
okay, I'm going to ask you the question first, and then because if I describe the whole thing, then I will be letting go or understanding the process. So I'm going to quickly ask you the question so that your viewers can actually participate, and then I will explain.
Okay.
So, Magdalena, let's take a deep breath and relax. Okay, clear your mind. Magdalena, close your eyes if you want. Imagine you're at a circus. Now imagine the lights, the sounds, the smells, the fun, the laughter, the thrills, and the suspense. Now imagine for a moment if you were one of the acts or performers. Which act would you be and why?
I don't know in English, but it came directly. I don't know in English how it is. It's not in every circus, though I didn't go to circus for a long time. My son is already a big guy. But in some of the performance, there is, we know the clown, always the same clown, but there is also a different character, is differently dressed up and having also a smile, not having a red hair like a typical clown, but having a smile at the same time having the black tears coming out from his eyes. And it just came to me, we put the mask and this mask will be a smile and strength. The smile is a strength, actually. The strength, but there is also a power of inner feeling of being ripped off and sadness. So I think this is how I feel. Yeah. And the tears are at the back. So first, because at the end, when we look at that character in the circus, we do not think too much about the black tears. We think, decoration on the face. It's just a design. But I don't know. I don't know if I'm correct. I don't know what's the name again of this character, but I think I would put myself into these shoes.
Okay. Interesting choice. Yes, I mean in the dynamic of a circus, you're in the clown section.
Okay.
And though it's not the typical big curly wig, big red nose, you didn't mention red nose, you're not the silly, stupid clown. Your clown is more like a mime. The mime actors have a white face and sometimes has the tears and
Yeah.
sometimes has very minimal features, minimal, and it's in the actions. And like you said, you wear a mask, your personality is, you wear this mask, which means the smile, you're, in essence, the analogy works because it identifies your role in the circus, but it also identifies your role in relationship. And in your case, you're very good at hiding your emotions. You're very good at controlling them. You'll show something to the world that isn't necessarily true. It's not a bad thing, but you're well in control. But also, the clown is very emotional. They're very connected spiritually. They are quite controlling.
Okay.
They're quite controlling because they are able to actually manipulate an audience by their act. So you're
Yeah.
very good at manipulation. And this doesn't necessarily mean it's negative. Manipulation can be like you make something, you create something, you mold something.
Moderation can be, yeah, we are somewhere and we are moderating the flow,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Within the conversation, for example, when it's boring.
Yeah. Well, there you go. But also you're an entertainer. Yeah, you're able to you're entertain. You've got the qualities and the traits of the clown, not the joyful, funny one, the silly fool,
Yeah.
hiding the pathos. There is some sadness there. There always is some sadness connected with the clown because they're deep thinkers. They're very emotionally connected. In fact, you need that connection to be respected by a partner.
Yeah.
You cannot not have that in a relationship. If your partner doesn't understand that you need to shine, you need to be a star, you need to have a voice, you need to be able to communicate in that way. To lead a relationship, even though you're a woman, you need to be able to have a say in a relationship. You
Yeah.
cannot be suppressed. Yeah.
from the perspective of this analogy from the circus, which I agree with you, because there are so many characteristics in us we don't pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
We think we know ourselves very well, but even the behaviors, the decisions we take are somehow associated with some of these characteristics that you have said. And these will have impact on the way how we are acting when we get attention. Like you mentioned, we are getting overwhelmed, and the critical thing will be how are we managing that attention. How we are creating the conversation, or even how we are running the interview.
If we look at the dynamic of a circus,
Yeah,
every partnership, and this is why I chose the circus. You asked about the world of love is a circus. Circus has many relationships, diverse relationships. We'll take the extreme, the lion tamer and the lion. And the
yeah,
lion tamer tells the lion what to do, and the lion does it, jumps through hoops,
yeah,
howls, whatever. In the relationship, the dynamic is, and I'm going to say man, and I'm going to say woman, and the stereotypical patriarchal relationship where the man is the head of the household and the woman does what she's told. That is the extreme at one
yeah.
end of the spectrum of polarity. And the polarity is wants to lead, wants to be led. You're not as far as the extreme of that end of the lion tamer. You're close to that end of
Mm-hmm.
needing the voice. You need to be to lead. In fact, when I say lead, I don't mean a weak man. The
Mm-hmm.
lion is weak. Let's not make the mistake. The lion is not weak. In a relationship, the lion is a strong, in fact, stronger physically
Yeah.
than the lion tamer, but it takes direction. It enjoys taking direction. That's what we're talking about here. So it's a power dynamic, but it's about direction. It's not about abuse.
Are we actually developing these elements in us, these kind of characteristics on our own, or at some cases they are shaped by the external circumstances? Because leading, oh my God, I pray every day that someone will come and will think on behalf of me.
Exactly.
And where the leading is coming, because for so many years, if I would not do that, the things would not be done. And it's not to diminish of someone's presence. It was just a plain text, plain narrative, rather than action.
Yeah, yeah. This is one of the major complaints from my clients is I want a man who's going to take control. And I don't mean abuse. Just take
Yeah,
control. Take the initiative.
yeah,
Take me somewhere. Decide what we're going to eat tonight. Just don't be just static. Take control.
yes.
And not all the time. But you see, look, as I said to you, because this polarity spectrum is a spectrum,
Mm,
you can be anywhere along that line. And on that line, as I said to you, the extreme is lion, tamer, and lion. The extreme balanced, okay? Because that's balanced, that's an imbalanced relationship where one is primarily controlling and one is being led. In a balanced relationship, the most balanced relationship in a circus are the acrobats and the flying trapeze because the timing, the metaphor of
oh,
the
it's
timing,
synchronized. Must be
synchronized.
really
Both
beautiful.
parties on that are perfectly timed. So if you the analogy works because when the female could be any gender, yeah,
Yeah,
female let go and the male comes in, the perfect timing, he has to catch her, not just support her and carry her and bring her back and let her go. So at the time when she needs that masculine energy, because the higher up the spectrum we go, there's more masculine energy. The lower down the spectrum we go is the feminine energy. Hence, the clown has more masculine energy. You
you
can switch
know,
it and turn it off.
it's so true. And sometimes this is why at the beginning I have asked you, aren't we too fast giving ourselves in the relationship? You said it's a matter of dynamics, But even when you are saying this synchronization, we are somehow, because we give too much ourselves at the beginning, we are limiting the room for a man because we give more than he asks. And at the same time, we are not hearing his needs because we are so overwhelmed by giving ourselves and cherishing that he is there sitting on the couch.
Mm.
Yeah, honey, next 10 pancakes I made for you. Are you ready? We are somehow sabotaging the beauty of the relationship by taking too much space and leaving not enough space for man to show his ability in building together the relationship. That's just my quick, I don't know, perception. How do you think about that?
Yeah, you're right. And being a child of the 60s and 70s and growing up in the 80s and dating a lot in the 80s, I'm familiar with the emancipation of men,
Okay.
where we had the situation where women had a voice and said, right, you're now going to do chores, you're going to do more than what you normally do. You know, you're going to stay at home and bring up kids. You're going to change diapers or nappies, or you're going to we're going to share the mortgage. I'm going to go out and work. So
Yeah.
you know, we can share the mortgage together. And women wanted to be heard, and I've got no problem with that. But what men have done, they've taken a back seat and said, okay, you want to wear the trousers? You wear the trousers then. I'm going
Yeah.
to sit back and I'm going to do what a man does, which is actually nothing. I'm not actually going to be more like a woman. I'm actually going to do nothing. So you do everything, which is not fair, right? And
Absolutely.
we found ourselves in a situation. I found myself on a date once, and this is when it slapped me right in the face. I went on a date, and I'm a gentleman. I'm old school. We were walking towards this restaurant, and I jumped in front and opened the door. And she looked at me horrified and went, "What, do you think I can't open my own door?" And looked at me like that. And I was like, what do I do now? Do I let it go in your face? And I felt so shit. I really,
Mm.
as a man, I want to do those manly things. I want to open the door. I want to pay for your meals. I don't expect anything back, but I expect to be a man. That's me.
And
That
you said it's old school, and I also do not understand why we kick out that old school teachings, because when we speak, I had once this kind of also exchange, man gentleman, and the man says, oh, I am gentleman. That now read the definition of a gentleman, because you really have wrong understanding. And in that case it was, why should I be a gentleman to any woman? I will be a gentleman to my woman. Okay, that you are not a gentleman at all, I'm sorry.
hmm.
But this is
To me, a
when,
gentleman is having the manners and politeness in your masculine.
exactly, the
Simple
kindness,
as that.
and we somehow blurred that. We as a woman, we blur that, and we think, or maybe this is the, the general movement, global movement, that when the man is doing something for us, we see it, do you think I'm weak? No, men just want to be a man. We
Mm.
took somehow this power from a man, right?
Well, yeah, society has disempowered men to a certain extent, but like I said, some men have taken that to mean, well, that means you can have your power and do what you want with it. Almost out of anger, almost misogynistically, men think, well, you have it then, especially with divorces, where the woman has the power and takes the money. Okay. She takes
Okay,
the home, she takes the kids, she takes the money. And F you, men go, F you. Literally hate women. And it's so sad because listen, a woman deserves what she deserves in a divorce. Okay.
that's
Um,
absolutely right.
I absolutely, whatever a woman deserves, she deserves. But some men react very badly to that. And they then take that to the next relationship and hate the next woman for it, because you're just another woman who's going to screw me over. And
Yeah.
it's bad, because not every woman is the same. And why is a woman screwing you over if she's got your kids, because she has to, kids need to be with their mother. She's got a home, which might be the family home. She's got some standard of living which she deserves. If she's grown the house with you, supported you as a housewife or whatever, she deserves 50-50, whatever you want to call it. I understand there's been some relationships where it has got atrocious, and men feel very upset. It's the equivalent to being raped for a woman. Of course, you're going to be upset, but if you need to heal yourself. If you're going to go and move forward, same with a woman. If you've divorced a guy because he was cheating on you, not every man is a cheat. If you go on social media, all you see is men hating, men hating, men hating. It's like, oh my God, there's so much anger out there. How are you going to find the next love of your life if all you are is angry?
Yeah. This is, first of all, if you are angry, stay away from new relationships, right? And I
Absolutely.
also think people are ending one relationship and they are getting into a new relationship too fast. And this is, here I will say, that's the mistake people are doing, because you need to, I'm not saying you need to have your time to cry in the pillow, but you
No.
need to make this strategic reflection, what went wrong, especially when the ending is bad. It's, for me, like, we are having this saying that on the day of your divorce, you will get to know with whom you have been married. And it's so, so true. Really so true. I had some years ago, a woman did not, it wasn't a good experience, of course, because it was a betrayal. And she was very angry with him. But then when we were speaking with her about how the father of the child is behaving, we said, okay, he harmed you because the tango needs two, right? It
Mhm.
was not the right thing that he did it. It's better to finish and then go for the affair, right? So he didn't do right thing. But now let's be adult and mother. What kind of father he is to your child? Perfect. He does this, he does this. He gave me security for that, for that. I said, count on this and see this. Not what
Mm.
he have done to you there, but who is he today? Look what he is actually financially, emotionally providing a support to you during your other
Mm.
problems where he has no duty anymore, and how he's contributing to your child development. That's the important thing. Anger making us blind. Do you agree?
Mm. Yeah. Well, yeah, you can't do anything with anger, can you? You can't think straight. You take that anger, it your opinion changes, and if you tar everyone with the same brush, it's not going to work. Absolutely not going to work. Because if your attachment style is anxious, the moment someone tips you over a little bit, you're immediately going to throw daggers at them. And
Mm,
it's not going to work. You're going to destroy a self-destruct your relationship before it's even started. So you have to heal the anger first. You have to, like you said, you need to reflect. You need to understand. Not necessarily go to a therapist and figure it all out, but at least understand, like you said, you're 50% of the relationship. So if a man's cheated on you and then you've divorced, he may have cheated on you because that he needed to do that to make that break. I'm not
mm,
saying you needed to do that and you deserved it, but it happens the other way as well. Women walk off with another man because
that's
it's
true.
kind of their way of saying, I've done it, I've crossed the line. We're going to
Yeah,
get divorced. Because adultery is definitive in most cases. Sometimes it happens and then the couple stay together, and sometimes they break apart. And those that break apart immediately, they walk away. It was always going to happen. It just
that's
needed to happen.
that's true. Do you think the anger comes because the expectations were not met?
We all have expectations, don't we, when we get married?
Is it
What
healthy?
with the partner? Sorry.
We have expectations. The interesting thing is, like you said, we are 50-50 responsible, accountable in the relationship. The dynamic is very interesting because we all are having expectations, but we are immediately having these expectations directed to the opposite side. We
Yeah.
forget we should have expectations from our role within that relationship. No, you should be grateful I am in a relationship with you. Now I will watch you, how you meet my expectations.
Well, Magdalena,
Why you show this?
let's go back to the interview, the job.
Yes, please.
You get the job and then turn up at the job the first day and go, right, I'm here. I'm working. Don't tell me anything. Don't tell me what to do. Da, da, da. I am perfect. You've got a role, and that role is to meet expectations. Otherwise, you will get fired. And why is a relationship any different? We have expectations, but we have to do something within that relationship. And you know what? Just align your values and your expectations right at the beginning. Communicate right at the beginning. I want to have kids. I want to live in America. I want to live by the sea. I want a big fancy car. I want a wife that cooks for me. I want a husband that makes decisions. Whatever those things are, because you've already done the I fancy you, because if you're dating someone, you fancy them. You're already physically attracted. You've obviously had, if you're in a relationship, you've had sex, you align in those values. Yeah. But on the other factors, you need to interview those straight away. You need to get those values, get the emotions out, align all your characteristics, everything. I hear this word ick, and ick is so superficial.
Okay.
Oh, I don't know. He leaves the top off the toothpaste by the sink, and I can't marry
Oh,
this man.
yeah.
I mean, that's just a really silly one, but even at the dating stage, this superficial. At the end of the day, align your values.
That's true. And what together you can eventually achieve if these values are somewhere aligned, right?
Hmm.
Going back to your Circology, because I would really love to hear more about that, and I believe many people will have a great benefit also from that knowledge. Usually I say follow the wisdom, not a circus. But
Hmm.
here, circus brings the wisdom. So, what's the
Yeah.
wisdom within your Circology framework?
Well, we often say, don't we, a circus is chaos.
Yeah,
We say, "Oh, it's a circus. It's crazy. It's mad," and that is the point. The point is this: under one sphere or tent, there's so much going on, and that's the world. And there's so many relationships. I'll just give you one example: the bearded lady, completely isolated, single person in society, is that person that is completely different to everybody else. The analogy of the bearded lady. Um, and that person has to deal with dysfunction, social acceptance,
yeah.
all the issues that they deal with internally, and build a relationship. So that's one element. You've got many elements in the circus. You've got the magician with the assistant. That's a perfect relationship. That's a harmonious, where the magician does the performing and the assistant supports. And that
Oh,
dynamic.
that's wonderful analogy. Is there really a right time when I should expose my needs? When there is a right time?
I think it's very healthy to get them on the table straight away.
Oh, okay.
And I don't mean in the first sentence. Yeah, we're not. Let's
Okay.
not. We're not talking about the first sentence. Hi, this is what I want. On a dating site, this is what I want. You can kind of say those things if in your bio on your dating site. You could kind of say, look, I'm looking for something serious, not necessarily
Okay.
marriage. I'm looking for something serious. I'm not looking for just fun, because at least you're saying if you're looking just for fun, don't come to me. I'm looking for something. It doesn't mean you're not going to have fun. Yeah,
Okay.
you can also show that you're fun.
Yeah.
Everyone, you're fun, but I'm not going to be like a casual. I call it casual and formal. I'm looking for a formal relationship. Yeah, because
Mm.
I'm 35, I'm 40. I maybe want to have kids. I'm a woman now. Yeah, I want to have kids. I don't want just to have fun with some guy that doesn't
Yes.
know what he wants. Yeah. So you lead. This is the point about the leading, the manipulation. It's not the negative manipulation. It's kind of writing your bio so that you're saying what you want to say without scaring someone off. If you say, "I'm only looking to get married," that probably people will go, "Oh my
Yeah.
God, I can't talk to
The
her."
freestanding statement that, yes, that is, oh my God, that's a
But
freak.
I'm not. But
But
I'm not looking for just fuck buddy, or I'm not just looking for a friend zone. Also says I'm looking for formal. So
yes.
there's ways around it. And going back to the circus question, what the beauty of the circus question is it unlocks a lot of things that you need to know that are difficult to ask
Mm,
because we're not psychologists. I say we're.
yeah.
The average person is not a psychologist. They haven't got a manual that says, right, I'm going to talk to this person and I'm so slowly going to psychoanalyze whether this guy's a narcissist, whether he's this a toxic relationship,
Yeah.
whether he's right for me, whether he's this for me, whatever. At the end of the day, because it works on unconscious selection, yeah, there's two processes in the circus question. The first one is conscious location. When I ask
Mm,
you to imagine you're at a circus, the second part of asking you to choose what you would be and why, it allows you to tap into your unconscious mind. And your unconscious association with the act reveals your role. And
okay.
if it can do that, asking someone else that question will reveal theirs. And then you'll know whether you're a good match. And in my system, I have a numbering strategy, which, for example, a lion tamer is a 9 and the lion is a 1. And that
Okay.
number together makes the perfect 10. So if you're in your case, you're looking at my you're an 8.5, which
Okay.
is quite high. So you need somebody that's going to be supportive, strong enough and supportive, but not clash with you. So you couldn't date a lion tamer. You just
Okay.
couldn't because you would both be fighting for control. That wouldn't be a balanced relationship. That would be extremely toxic.
Just,
You'd be
yeah.
fighting
The
together.
fires would be up.
It might be great at the beginning because
Yeah.
often with that kind of level of masculinity, there's a lot of fire and it could be sexually charged and one of those quick relationships where you are whisked off to Paris and you get married and or
Mm.
Vegas and you get married and people say, what are you doing, what are you doing? Well, it's amazing, it's amazing. And then you're butting heads all the time and you go off in different directions.
Because beginning, I think, yeah, we do not enter the relationship in a right way, the connection with other person, and like you said, the first 3 months is just honeymoon, mental honeymoon, and since we are on the circus stage, after 3 months the curtain goes down, and then, oh shoot, but you are already
Mm.
too deep, and depending from your inner ability of facing the reality, either you get stuck or you
Mm.
step away. So that's the different type of people.
Why I say with the date with the in the dating setup with dating apps and whatever, if someone answers the question, and by the way, the way to ask the question is either straight off the bat, imagine you're at a circus, blah, blah, blah. Or you say, I've heard this really interesting question today, and I really would like to know your answer to it. So it's playful. Yeah. You're not kind of right. I need to interview you because I want to know what role you're going to be in a dynamic relationship. That you know that. He doesn't know that. You just need
Yeah,
to say friendly, playfully, oh, even on the phone, whatever. I heard this, and then they will answer. They don't know why you're asking that question. And even if they did, they don't know your role. So they would need to answer honestly in order to identify your match and their match. This is the co-selection bit.